I don't know what's happening to me. I'm tired and close to giving up. Is this stress or is this much more than it? Schoolworks, family problems, financial problem. Lately, I've been fearing to ask this question to myself. But am I emotionally stable? Emotions. This refers to the voice of one's conscience from within it, and there are three types of it. One is a subjective emotion, which emphasizes on personal feelings, judgments, thoughts, and opinions. Example would be your own opinion, since you are entitled to your own thoughts. Second is behavioral emotion, which refers to one's action before or toward others, especially on a particular occasion. This shows how a person handles a situation. Example, when I'm angry, it's either I act up or shut up. Last, psychological emotion, which is a mental response to an injury, meaning different variables will influence things such as injury duration and recovery. This shows in emotion which could be known as anger, depression, motivation, and frustration. Example, when a basketball player is highly injured which left him unable to play, this incident may lead to self-pity or worse, anger. For those who don't know, emotions are directly connected to consciousness, which is an individual's unique thoughts, memories, feelings, sensation, and environment. When you're conscious, the more rational your emotion would be. Your conscious experiences are constantly shifting and changing with the help of emotions. This ever-shifting stream of thoughts can change dramatically from one moment to the next, but your experience of it seems smooth and effortless. But things would be different if stress comes in. Stress may trigger a lot of emotional problems. Despite being rational, one may still be in conflict with their emotions. That's why behavioral medicine exists. It is an interdisciplinary field that uses the concepts and techniques of the behavioral sciences to improve physical and emotional health of people. We all know that the mind is the source of creativity and feelings. It is not tangible. Mind holds consciousness, which is the awareness of self, environment, and sensing when you are awake. While bodies are material entity, we spend time decorating our own appearance. Without proper care, people may experience the following. A psychosomatic disorder is a disease which involves both mind and body, specifically physical disease made worse by mental factors such as stress, emotions, experiences, and anxiety. Ulcer are holes or breaks in the protective lining of the duodenum or the stomach. It was believed that ulcers were caused by stress, too much spicy food, and alcohol. Heart disease. We all know that our heart is basically a living pump and its size of your fist. The heart pumps microscopic cells called blood cells around your body. Red blood cells carry oxygen and nutrients to the whole body. Now, the heart can break down, and one way that happens is form a heart disease. Heart disease is the name given to all the different heart diseases. There are different diseases that can be found in the heart that may affect the whole thing or just a few parts of it all. All heart diseases belong to the category of cardiovascular diseases because heart means cardio. Next is voodoo death. Occur during serious mental breakdown and anxiety. The term voodoo originated from the Afro-Haitian religion, voodoo. Neurologist Martin Samuels of Brigham and Women's Hospital said voodoo death phenomenon dropping death because of fear. Theories of emotions. James Lange theory of emotion, proposed by psychologist William James and psychologist Carl Lange in the mid-1880s. Learn about emotion and the James Lange theory. Emotion and reaction, which come first, the emotion or the reaction? Some people believe our emotion dictates our response, and others believe our reaction dictates our emotion. For example, are we afraid because we run, or do we run because we are afraid? According to the James Law theory of emotion, our psychological reaction occurs first, followed by an emotional reaction. We are afraid because we run. This theory states that our emotions are caused by our interpretation of bodily reactions. James and Lange both believe that when an event occurs, our body reacts, and then we feel emotion after the brain interprets the psychological change. The Cannon-Barrett theory of emotion, also known as the thalamic theory of emotion, is a physiological explanation of emotion developed by Walter Cannon and Philip Barth. Cannon-Barrett theory states that we feel emotions and experience physiological reactions such as sweating, trembling, and muscle tension simultaneously. How the Cannon-Barrett theory works more specifically, it is suggested that emotion results when the thalamus sends a message to the brain in response to a stimulus, resulting in a physiological reaction. According to one major theory of emotion, there are two key components, physical arousal and a cognitive level. In other words, the experience of emotion involves first having some kind of psychological response which the mind then identifies. Cognitive theories of emotion began to emerge during the 1960s as part of what is often referred to as the cognitive revolution in psychology. One of the earliest cognitive theories of emotion was one proposed by Stanley Schachter and Jerome Singer, known as the two-factor theory of emotion. What is the two-factor theory? Like the James Lange theory of emotion, and in contrast to the Cannon-Barrett theory of emotion, Schachter and Singer felt that physical arousal played a primary in emotions. However, they suggested that this arousal was the same for a wide variety of emotions. So physical arousal alone could not be responsible for emotional responses. The two-factor theory of emotion focuses on the interaction between physical arousal and how we cognitively label that arousal. In other words, simply feeling arousal is not enough. We also must identify the arousal in order to feel the emotion. But despite having negation about the possible outcomes of stress in emotions, emotions are still useful. For emotions means accepting all your feelings no matter what they are and having a generally optimistic approach in it. One should know how to assist in decision making, or the capacity to make a decision is in question can appoint a person assist, co-decide, or has somebody appointed to represent for the purpose of making decision. There are 5 characteristics in assist in decision making. First, self-awareness is knowing, recognizing, and discriminating between your feelings. Second, mood management is handling feelings so they're relevant to your current situation and reacting appropriately. Third, self-motivation is collecting your feelings and directing yourself toward a goal despite of self-doubt. Fourth, empathy is recognizing others' feelings and paying attention to their verbal and nonverbal clues. Lastly, managing relationship is handling interpersonal interaction, managing conflict, and negotiations. For those people who thinks that emotional behavior is a joke and not taking it seriously, please grow up. When someone who has been sad, distant, not themselves for a while, suddenly starts going out their way to see people, often giving them gifts, don't assume they got better. This is the time to really ask them if they are okay, to reach out and not simply accept the answer of fine, great, or never better, because for some people, the relief of having made the decision to end their life can make them happy. Always remember that no matter how hard the situation is, never let your emotions overpower you. I am Eileen Geronimo. I am an aspiring psychologist and a girl who is trying to make a change in a constant reality.
Emotional behavioral disability. This disability is defined by IDEA under emotional disturbances. One or more of the following 5 characteristics must be present in order for the student to be diagnosed. An inability to learn which cannot be explained by intellectual, sensory, or health factors. An inability to build or maintain satisfactory interpersonal relationships with peers and teachers. Inappropriate behaviors or feelings under normal circumstances. A general mood of unhappiness or depression. And a tendency to develop physical symptoms or fears associated with personal or school problems. These characteristics must be present over a long period of time and to a degree that negatively affects the student's education performance. Students with emotional behavioral disability have IQ scores in the low average range. They also present moderate to severe academic difficulties in multiple areas and limited academic improvement over time. These students will oftentimes disrupt class and respond impulsively. They will lack knowledge or skills required to perform essential social behaviors or just not choose to perform the behaviors. Don't worry. Strategies have been developed to help teachers help their students with EBD. Expect and create. First, you must expect appropriate behavior. The students need guidance, model behavior, and feedback. Reinforcements and punishments should be used just as they would be with other students. There should be clear behavior expectations, and responses to rule violations should be consistent and sound. Second, teachers should be proactive in creating a community of people who will support the student. It can include parents, siblings, other teachers, extracurricular leaders, friends, and others. Communication and collaboration are vital among the members of this group. The needs of the child, behavior triggers, and expectations should all be well known. Students with EBD are absolutely capable of being included in a general education classroom. Teachers should recognize and respond to progress because it will encourage the students to continue their good behaviors and build self-esteem. The students should have an individualized behavior intervention plan. The BIP describes the problem behavior, the reasons the behavior occurs, and the intervention strategies that will address the behavior. Einstein said it best, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." All students have an opportunity to be successful. Believe in them.